Well, now. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. If I can introduce your match referee for this match, Peter Arundale from England. And put your hands together, please, for the President of the WEPF, Joe Fanto.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the World 8-Ball Pool Federation, welcome to this second team semi-final. It's my pleasure to introduce the two teams for this final this evening. And if I could please ask you to be upstanding as we introduce the teams into the arena to their national anthems. Ladies and gentlemen, Malta. All the best. 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 Now let's hear it for their opponents, England! And now as we invite these two teams to the traditional handshake, let's wish them the very best of luck. All the best. All the best. All the best. All the best.
And a very warm welcome back to Blackpool for the second men's team semi-final, England against Malta.
Referee, take
We
control.
were treated to a good match earlier between Scotland and Wales, although ended up being fairly one-sided. The crowd will be hoping for a slightly more even contest between these two teams. Very pleased to be joined in the commentary box again by Butters. How do you see this one panning out?
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Look, I don't know about the crowd hoping for a closer one. I think most of the crowd are probably English, so they may be hoping for another one-sided match. But,
Yes.
Yeah, look, this is. I've asked quite a few people how they think this is going to go, and everyone's going either way. So it really will be a tough contest. They're a very fiery side, Malta, and if they can get going, they're a real threat to the English side, who are always favourites. So.
Yeah, I found the same. Like, talking to people in the bar earlier, you're expecting everybody to say they think England's going to run away with it, but actually they didn't at all, which is indicative of how good this Maltese team must be.
Yeah, they're good. They really the support's fantastic. They run on adrenaline a bit, and yeah, a lot of very good players in the side. And they've won the lag, so it's a good start for them. Now, who can get the measure of the break in this match? Because almost no one seemed to have it in the last one.
First frame,
Yeah,
Malta
we
to
saw
break.
in the last match, Wales got off to a good start and then it went terribly wrong. But ordinarily, you'd certainly say that getting off to a good start's the key thing.
Yeah, well, Tom Cousins, the lone 2 frames, would be very disappointed with that effort. And he's got a yellow.
Well, first pass achieved for Johan
All
Assad.
potted.
This doesn't look bad at all. Yellow is quite nicely spread out.
Yellow ball's in play.
So plenty of guys from snooker background, the Maltese side as well, obviously the English. I'd say a lot of them would be very, very solid snooker players, which helps a lot on the 8-foot table.
Yeah, it's a country with a proud Q Sports heritage, Malta. given the enormous difference in population between England and Malta, you wouldn't think this ought to be that even, but they've managed to turn out an excellent team here. This is the first time we've seen them at this televised stage for quite some time, but they've been very consistent performers in this tournament. They've also been long-time hosts of the European Championships, a big tournament that happens in Malta every spring, so good opportunity for them to get experience on the world stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, they've done a fantastic job in the teams. They finished only one match off the top of the ladder. They finished third. And first and second were only one win above third and fourth. So very tightly contested the whole event so far, as far as the teams go. That's a very confident shot. A little bit too confident, in fact.
Yeah, now does this yellow that he's nearest go between the gap of the black and the other yellow?
Looks like it does. Looks like he wants to play it and just run through.
Yeah, it's been a confident start. As you say, the shot before last was absolutely key to get good position on those two yellows. He struck it beautifully.
And this is the one that'll test the nerves.
Yeah, they look so easy when you see them from behind the shot on television, but actually across the net, well, I was going to say, across the table, never easy to roll them slowly, but he didn't bother. He just smashed it in.
Just jacked up and punched it in. Yeah. Easy as you like.
Great start from Malta.
Great start.
No signs of nerves at this stage. They take England to a 1-0 lead.
Open table.
Yeah, dry break for England.
Right, only took one visit for Malta in the first frame to get their first frame on the board. Afforded a second opportunity in quick succession.
The yellows look pretty good. A couple of little clusters of reds.
Wayne Benici standing up for Malta.
Yellow ball's in play.
All of these players aren't probably quite so well known to the English audience, but it strikes me as a consistently good team. They're not just relying on one or two good players, they seem to be quite cohesive as a team unit.
Yeah, plenty of them have gone well in the stats for the round robin matches.
I think the one thing that's probably easier for the overseas teams as well is that they do tend to have a more cohesive team environment because they've travelled a long way together and they're the only people they know over here, so they tend to socialise more together. Often that can actually be quite a big advantage.
Yeah, definitely. When you're in saying that, all the English guys and all the UK sides, where's he gone in off? Just got away with it. They all play, most of them play on the tour as well, so they'd all know each other pretty well.
Yeah, the England team, it's such a difficult team to get into. A lot of those players have been there for a long time, so they've been playing together for years. And it's an achievement to get into any national side, but to get into the English side, you really do have to go out of your way. There's so many good players, one after another, queuing up.
And you've
Red balls to
80,000 other players that wanted the same spot, so yeah, he's just left that a bit wide.
Yeah, that's caused by the previous shot. He flirted with the middle pocket, almost went in off, and ultimately left himself slightly more of a cut than he was looking for.
Yeah, a bit of a blind shot up the rail, which is never easy. let alone under these circumstances.
It's been a disappointing afternoon for Michael Hope losing in the individual semi-final, but I'm sure when he gets over that disappointment he'll reflect on what an excellent week he's had.
That's actually, he's missed that by a pretty long way actually, because he's wanted to catch that yellow half ball off the cushion and he's completely missed it, so...
Yeah, I think he'll be actually fairly happy with how it's finished up, because he made such a mess of the shot.
Well, he might have left him on the plan. If he left him on the plan, he's in a bit of strife.
Yeah, if he can see this is... and he can, in case it's no good for him at all. I mean, it wasn't the most straightforward shot that Michael was trying to play there, but he was a long way away from it.
Yeah, he'd expect to at least get it over the hole, if not him.
Unexpected quick second chance for Wayne Bonici. Getting off to a 2-0 start would be very important against a team like England. It's practically like playing England in their local club. They play so often. That's another one.
Yeah, that's a very unexpected miss. That's a couple now, so...
Yeah, I mean, that was a much easier pot. I think the only reason he's missed it is he was just trying to hold position, but there's still no excuse for missing the pot.
Michael's got a couple of balls around the middle pocket, which will be good to for an extraction on these two on the left side rail.
Yeah, I mean he's only got one difficulty, that cluster on the left, but I think this may be a good angle to get into.
Yeah, it looks like a good spot to get him now.
The England team not taking anything for granted there. You can see some serious faces behind him, but he's played that well.
Played that very well. Ideally, the ball over the middle will be a one before the black. So we want to get up the other end as soon as possible.
Yeah, the most difficult one to get position on will be the one up the top of the table near the yellow, but there's still a decent amount of space around it.
Yeah, it's easy enough to get on, but it may not be easy to get where you want to be off it unless you land perfect.
No, we saw a fair bit of that earlier on. That was Wales' undoing. They kept slightly ending up in the wrong position on balls and then were running out of position when they were in.
Yeah, cue ball just getting away from them a little bit. It doesn't take much. And the speed of this table, you only have to over or under hit something by a little bit and it makes a huge difference.
One of the smoothest cueists, Michael Hope, makes it look very effortless the way he gets through the ball. Useful on this kind of table when it's so fast. If you can just hit things gently, it makes the game an awful lot easier.
Yeah, he's a beautiful timer of the ball. Now this is one of those shots that have been going wrong for a lot of people. If he can't hold, means he's got to run off the ball cushion and back out.
Yeah, a few different ways of going about this. All of them simple pots, but it's just a question of judging the run of the white.
And the only thing he doesn't want to do here is be short.
It's a pretty good shot. Michael Hope's the kind of guy that doesn't mind leaving himself a long shot, so it's an easy enough pot anyway, but I don't think he'll be too bothered about where he leaves the black.
Just nudge into the yellow, give himself room.
Comparatively simple straight black for Michael Hope to even things up for England. Even things up he does. England 1, Malta 1. cut off for England in the last frame. Looked like Malta could so easily have cleared up. Ray Karana coming to the table now.
Ball potted.
A bit of an unlucky kiss then. The white was just floating up around where the black is and just got kicked to the back cushion, so it's giving him less options.
Red ball's nominated. Sorry, red ball's in play.
Yeah, particularly when you're only playing one frame at a time, you really want them as easy as possible.
Not touching. Time running.
Time out to ask the referee, Pete Armitage, whether that red is touching the cushion or not. He's received the answer that it wasn't, so he was able to
Yellow
play that
ball's
shot.
in play.
Something has got to make contact with the cushion after you play the shot, which is why he was asking.
It was interesting because he played the topspin break and everyone else seems to either be stunning or screwing the breaks. So.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of position, it's probably better to stun or screw it, but sometimes you see people just get a better contact when they play with topspin. They seem to get through it better and get a better hold on the pat.
Yeah, it's just way more difficult to control the white because obviously if you're playing forward, you're running it back through all the balls, so it's going to get. If it doesn't get kicked, it's a miracle. So a little bit more luck involved that way. Whereas if you play the screw break or the stun break, much less chance of it getting kicked.
Haven't really seen too much of this so far, but got into a position where there's no easy pot on, so they're both just nudging around this area, trying not to leave the other one anything.
Very tough shot to control the pace of. So he's left Carl. Well, he's up the top or he's got a cut in the middle.
Very experienced player, Carl Sutton. We've seen a lot of him for England over the last few years. Very steady under pressure.
Yeah. It's got that yellow up near the red too. He might try and move that now as well. It's a lovely pot. Didn't get any contact then.
No, that was a good pot. He's got a shot, so not that difficult yellow, but it's a lot more difficult than it looks from this angle.
Yeah, he needs some coverage. He might have to play it down onto the yellow over the bottom right. Try and get some coverage there. So if he plays to the middle and misses, he leaves everything.
Yeah, these reds are now in a really lovely position. If Ray Karana does get back to the table.
Yeah, that's what he's done. And he's done that second frame-saving shot, that.
Very difficult to judge those. Although you'd think it would be easy enough to roll a ball over the pocket, they spit out quite easily. You can pot them by mistake quite easily.
Oh yeah. Pace is everything.
And that's where England are at a huge advantage. Carl Sutton's played on this table a lot of times before, whereas the Maltese players, inevitably it's going to take them a bit longer to bed themselves in. Get a good view there of Ray Karana's cue action.
We'll try and get down and double this red.
Yeah, he's in the kind of position where there's no particularly obvious safety shot and everything goes bar that one, so every reason to go for an aggressive option, but one very difficult shot he's still going to have to make at some point.
Yeah, at least he might have coverage on the yellow we can see there on his left. Just wiped his feet in the lane. Got an angle to kick at it now if he wants. Looks like he's playing for the double.
Yeah, it's make your mind up time, isn't it? The cannon is fraught with some problems, but then the double is not 100% either. Well, kind of the right shot to go for it, but it was always going to be hard to knock the red out coming at it from that angle.
How much room is there inside that yellow? He's also got lucky pushing two of Carl's yellows to the cushions.
Judging by Carl's face when he played that shot, he seemed pretty confident that he'd covered the pocket well, but we've been caught out like this before. There's often more space behind the ball than you think.
Yeah.
Well,
Ooh,
that's a really unnecessary miss. That wasn't the difficult shot in this frame.
No, he took his eye off that. He's worried about position.
That would have been a pretty awkward shot on the red.
I'd be pretty surprised if that yellow comes out.
That's what Cole's sizing up here, because if he's sure that the red won't come out, he's under a lot less pressure. If he's worried that he could potentially leave a shot where Raikkonen could knock that red into the yellow and free the pocket up, he's got to be a bit more careful.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that
Must
shot
be.
probably tells you that he is comfortable the red isn't going to go.
Yeah, well, he's left him in the best possible position to have a go at it if that's what he wanted to do.
The other good thing from Carl's point of view about covering that pocket is that it takes away one option for somewhere you might knock the red out to if he ever gets to go. He's not going to be doubling it across that way now.
Yeah. Obviously doesn't like it. Looks like he's having a go. Where's the white going?
Well, as it turns out, it's not the best outcome because there is a ball up there, but to get it out at all, I think was actually a pretty decent result from where he was.
But you were right, the red's come out and gone over towards the pocket that's covered, so...
I mean, really, although it's easy to be critical of that shot, he had so few options, I think he felt that there wasn't really much else he could do.
No.
There's no point passing the too easy one.
There's still a bit of pressure on this shot from Carl because he's not sticking to the rail the whole way. Because that red will still go under the yellow and black there into the right corner. Position on the black might be a little tricky, but then it's still there.
Yeah, that does add a degree of pressure actually here, because if Carl takes on a pass and misses it, it will be likely that he will leave some kind of pass, and then that risk does come into play.
This will be dead weight. Yeah, it's landed on the right side of the pocket, so that's a good shot.
Yeah, that was struck well. He could have committed more to the pot, but he'd have risked bobbling the ball and opening the pocket up.
So Corona in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, no pool player likes this situation where you've got a couple of balls that go and just this one that you're chasing around the table.
Yeah.
So happy facing in the English team.
Yeah.
Gavin Lomax on the right, Michael Hake on the left.
I'm pretty happy with 1-1.
Where's that red going?
He's almost jagged it.
I mean, much like his last shot, that didn't look a very sensible option, but then what was he going to do?
What else? Yeah, that's right.
He's at least got all three reds into play now. I mean, I can't seriously give him much hope of coming back to the table against a player of Carl Sutton's calibre, but at least he does have Carl under a tiny bit of pressure.
Yeah, I don't think Carl will be feeling too much at the moment, to be honest. He'll be pretty happy with where these are. It's perfect just to drop in onto the bottom rail.
Easy stuff now. Everything's going in these bottom two pockets. Just slide things one way and then the other across the table. This is the kind of position you dream about being. Good confident shot there. Didn't have to play quite such good position, but just absolutely making sure that he...
Probably get the rest out here. Surely you won't play it left-handed. Don't do it, Carl.
Yeah, it's a real matter of preference, isn't it? You see some players that don't think twice about it, and others, it would be the wrong shot.
Yeah, it's different in a team final, though, I think. Can you imagine if you played a left-handed shot in a team final and stuffed it up?
Yeah.
You'd be crucified.
I mean, as it happens, this shot is so easy, there would just be no excuse for messing it up. And
Yeah.
And it's a very easy type of shot to play with the rest, because you're just playing it very slowly, so you're not trying to force through at all. And this simple black for Carl Sutton. Malta have had chances in both of the last 2 frames, but they haven't taken them. 2 frames to 1.
Leading 2 French to 1, time running.
Take the scoreline from looking at those 2 crowds there. The English team buzzing, interacting with each other, looked happy, talking to people behind them. The Maltese team a bit more nervous, all eyes fixed on the table.
Yeah, none of them seem to be speaking at all.
That's so difficult. No matter how good a team spirit you've got and how good a captain you've got, trying to G your team up when you're behind, particularly in a tense situation like that.
Yeah, it's early days though.
Yeah, 2-1 is definitely not a difficult position, but it's a good frame for Malta to win. If they could just get it levelled out again, they can effectively start all over.
Nice starter there. Really just drop this in, couple of red across the other side.
Shot Gavin Lomax waiting to pounce. Another one of the players that's come into the England team over the last few years, made a big impression.
That was a bit of a strange shot. He could have just dropped it in and had the same angle to play it over the other way, and he had coverage if he missed.
Yeah, that's an example of overcomplicating it. And he, well, left himself it slightly more difficult, but no real excuse for missing that.
No, he's played it, hit it straight into the cushion, never gave it a chance.
Imperial Hotel in Blackpool, the venue for this tournament for the 9th year.
So a good looking table, the 8-foot Supreme, isn't it?
It is. The Supreme, obviously one of the leading manufacturers of tables, proud sponsor of this tournament for a number of years. You get them in a lot of different colours, but as you say, this wood effect table is a handsome looking piece.
See where that wood ended up. Yeah, he's got enough contact on the yellow, so probably still continue on with it. He doesn't have any coverage on anything, so he really has to at the moment.
Yeah, he's done just enough. Those yellows kind of split out from each other. It's still not absolutely perfect. It would obviously be nice to clear the 2 yellows up this end, one after another, but he's going to have a bit of work to do with the keyboard if he's going to do that.
Yeah, take a good shot. Doesn't hit that quick.
Yeah, I mean that's an example of somebody that's played on this table before. That was right on the edge of what you can get away with. Got it right. See the intent face of the England captain, Lee Kendall in the middle. Team manager Steve Mills just to his right.
He was my co-commentator yesterday. Millsy.
Yeah, he's had a good record with England. It's in some ways a very difficult job being the England manager because you've got such an abundance of talent, but it's an easy job in the sense that you keep getting sent great players to play in your team. And what's that? Lomax has missed that ball altogether.
Run out a little bit on him, but no, he's a ripper bloke, Millsy. Enjoyed spending a bit of time with him. here and out of the commentary booth.
Yeah, it's a role that England have found useful over the last few years, having a manager separate from the captain, a kind of non-playing role. Lee Kendall has more experience than everyone, but he has obviously still got to go out and do the business, so it's useful for him to have Steve there to do some of the organisation. Takes the pressure off him a bit.
I must admit, when they said it's not a great miss, still okay though.
No, he's thrown in a slightly quick one there. There's no real need to play it at that pace. You can see from where the whites ended up, it wasn't the most opportune positional shot, never mind missing the double.
And when I called the Masters final the other night, they said Lee was going to be on, and he wasn't in the end, but yeah, I was actually a little bit nervous about that.
Yeah, I mean, the wealth of experience Lee has, he's played in every one of the, I think it's 22 or 23 stagings of this event now. It's an astonishing record. He's just won absolutely everything there is to win with England over that period.
Legend of the game.
And had some great singles runs as well. It's helpful to have that kind of continuity. The advantage England obviously have is that, given that it's a local tournament, they don't have the same logistical difficulties getting everyone here, so they find it easier to pick literally the best team, perhaps, than some other teams do. It just means you have a body of guys that have played together so much that you've always got some older players to take the young ones up through the rank.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's an abundance of great players that don't try out for the team because they don't have the time to do it.
Yeah.
And you put the 8 best guys in England in the team, and it's near unbeatable.
Well, you only have to attend a UK Tour event just to see the strength in depth. When you get the draw for an event like that, it's not, you don't look at it thinking, oh, I want to avoid 3 or 4 people. There really aren't that many people you'd be delighted to play in the first round.
You want to avoid playing.
Meanwhile, Anton Cuscieri looking like unnecessarily difficult for himself. Okay, he's covered the pocket there, but that certainly wasn't the goal. You can see he's on the black. He definitely wanted to see that red disappear.
I don't think he'll take the yellow in the middle of the table because there's a chance he can play it inside that. So.
Yeah, I mean, really again an example of nerves from Anton there. He was basically playing quite well, but he just put in that quick one with the double that used up the first visit, and then played that slightly lax positional shot after a much thinner cut than he wanted on that last ball.
Well, he just has to bump this, and then that yellow stops him from going up and down in a direct route without playing with a bit of side.
Yeah, this is a absolutely horrible position to be in. It's a tricky escape to get it right, and it's not even that attractive even if you hit the ball.
Yeah, that's right. You've got to try and do it off 2 cushions, get the double kiss so it stays right in front of the pocket, and get the pace right.
There's just so many bad potential outcomes from this.
Yeah, and one good one.
Yeah.
He's hit this pretty quick. That's a good shot. Camera flicked as it made contact. I'd love to know what's going on right now. If he's taking the pot on.
Can't quite hear from our commentary position whether the referee did call there. Don't think it was a foul though. No, so it confirmed that it wasn't a foul, so that did have to pot that under a lot of pressure.
That's an enormous shot then.
He needs another one. These ones where they're just off the cushion. Hit that really nicely. Never
He did
touched
that
the
confidently,
side.
didn't he? Didn't overthink it, got down and hit it. Won't even bother putting that in there.
Yeah, obviously didn't quite go past the red, so decided to go this way. No problem at all to drop this one into the middle. What an enormous turnaround. Malta was in a tricky position, but if Gavin Lomax had missed that very difficult yellow to the middle, this would have been so different. That's the quality that he and so many of the other England team bring to the party. England now lead by 3 frames to 1.
That's a fantastic shot.
Time running.
Well, they're 2 very different matches, but the outcome has been almost a carbon copy so far from our first semi-final this afternoon. That one,
Absolutely.
Wales won the first frame and then Scotland went on a tear, and that's exactly what we're seeing here so far. Slightly lost control of the white there. He could seriously have gone in off, but he's spotted a yellow.
Bit awkward, the yellows.
Good moment this for Duncan Pisani for Malta. First appearance in this kind of arena.
Yellow balls in play.
Well, the adrenaline will be pumping. It's a little bit unsure.
Not an easy first shot to have to play in the situation.
Red balls in play.
He happy enough for that. I don't know whether he decided to play it like that or was playing it kind of as shots enough.
He's got the pace right, which is the main thing there. The guy who's playing is probably got more experience in the arena than anyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult situation if you're Duncan, because you want to ease yourself into the frame, you don't want to go for anything rash, but Lee Kendall is regarded as pretty much the best tactical player of all time, not just the best one in this team, so you don't really want to get drawn into a long tactical battle.
Yeah, sort of the longer the frame goes, the less chance you've got of winning it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Lee's literally been there and done it all. He knows exactly what he wants to do, not going to be nervous about doing it. That said, yellow's still the easier set of balls, really, thanks to the one on the bottom left.
That yellow's a real problem now, though. Very hard to get to.
30 seconds.
Normally I think he may try and cut this in the middle, but he may leave it because of that reason.
Slightly uncharacteristic shot from Lee Kendall.
Well, he's had a crack at the double and obviously wanted the white closer to the ball cushion.
Yes, not got either part of the shot absolutely right.
No.
Not far off in fairness, but the red is comparatively safe now on the left-hand side. And the white is anything but safe.
Unless we're not giving him enough credit, and he wanted that red on the cushion to play inside this yellow.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, Lee is so experienced. He's not somebody just to throw in a loose shot. I wasn't really expecting him to play a double there, but I suppose he sort of played it as 2 shots in one.
Yeah, there is an out on. Just needs to cannon into these balls with something.
Yeah, I mean, I almost think if you're Duncan Pisani, you're probably taking the view that this is not a gimme clearance by any means, but it might be your best opportunity. In 3 or 4 shots time, Lee Kendall could have him in all sorts of trouble if they just keep tapping the balls around. So perhaps he would prefer to go for it.
Yeah, it's got the makings of one of those frames.
So I'm just sizing up on the left-hand side of the table what he'd need to do. Play the yellow off the red or the yellow. Opens things up in different ways. But
The one he's just lining up down the cushion here, I'd want to be out near the centre of the table to be able to cut it in and run the wide across to get contact on these balls.
Seconds.
But he's going to be almost straight on it. Oh, he's got a bit of angle.
yeah, this is going to be an extravagant shot if he's going to open everything up in this one. I don't know whether he's thinking more of a containing shot or is he going to go for it?
Yeah, I don't think they're not in a great position to force it. He might have to just run it down.
Well, I mean, I suppose he didn't in the end come that far away from the cannon, but that didn't really look on in the way he played it to me. It always looked like he was, unless he caught it absolutely perfectly, which frankly was going to be hard to judge, it always looked like he was getting himself into a bit of trouble.
Yeah, it's a pretty big target though. You know, he didn't have to travel a lot of distance to get a nudge on one of them. So it's definitely a mistake.
Be relieved. White didn't drop in, but it's not the most friendly spot.
It's also a relief that the jaw's not in the way for this shot. Is it low enough to be able to double it? Or just cut it in? I think the black's in the way of the cut.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think he probably had to go for it like that. I think the safety shot was, he could have tried to cover that pocket, but I think it was just a bit too difficult, he concluded. If he's got a double on this, that's not the worst outcome given how the last few shots have gone.
I think the gap between the yellow and red is at least he'd have a double or triple in the middle.
Seconds.
Oh, how about that? That wasn't far away.
It's a great shot.
Oh, he's on black as well.
And what sort of opportunity will he get now?
Now, this is the kind of position that a lot of people have found themselves in against Lee Kendall over the years, and they never see the ball again.
Yeah.
This isn't ideal still. That red isn't properly covering the yellow, but doesn't pot, so Lee's got a bit to think about here.
Not only that, from the centre pocket across the table, there's a big area to play out of a snooker if he snookers him over the left-hand side.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very hard to play telling enough safety here, I think. Quite advantageous leaving the red that was nearest the cue ball there. That's
It's a really good shot.
reduced the gap a bit. And this is why he's such a difficult opponent. It looked like it was always going to be hard to block off all the angles, but actually the gap is a small one he's got to work with.
Well, he's got to hit right next to the jaw, and he's got to hope it doesn't skid.
Yeah, these are really difficult shots to judge when you haven't played very much on the table. On a new cushion like this, the cue ball often tends to slide off wider.
I reckon he needs to jack up a little bit on it and punch it off the cushion so it doesn't slide off.
If you can play the shot plain ball, it's not going to be quite so bad because he just needs to judge the slide there. If he needs to put any side on it, it'll be substantially more difficult.
Will it hold? No, exactly. Yeah, it's.
I mean, that's slid by a mile. It
Yeah,
almost looked
that's
like he was
what I
playing with
thought.
right hand side.
I've had the same trouble. Like I noticed how it works during the week on him. He really had to jack up and punch that to square it up. So
Yeah, although even that, it's hard to square them up enough sometimes on these tables. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful playing surface. newly covered in top quality straw cloth. The players have had a lot of positive feedback about it, but it's just shots like that that's almost arms on at this stage.
Yeah.
What a lovely shot from Lee Campbell. Such an awkward shot to cue that.
Now he's got the extraction, so if he can get rid of these, he's got the one ball on the cushion, which shouldn't be a problem for him. He's got a couple of options of moving it or just playing a double. And he's going to have 2 on his last red, so...
Yeah, it's all about just keeping the visit in hand.
Yeah.
If he turns up to that last red with 2 shots, it's all over.
Here it comes. Oh,
Well,
that's a nasty kick.
a surprising shot. But yeah, I mean, as you say, trying to get into the cue ball, if he's properly got hold of that, the white was going to be somewhere near the middle of the ball cushion, but it just went off sideways.
That he had to have had a kick then. There's no way that came off naturally.
Yeah, I mean, the cue ball bounced slightly as he hit it, which meant that the spin just didn't take effect anywhere near quick enough. I mean, it's one of those shots that makes you look stupid. It looks like you've just thrown it straight in, but that was only partly his fault. I mean, the only thing you would say is if you're playing them at that pace, again on the slippery cloth, they do take a bit longer to take hold. You do have to take a bit more care.
I think we'll give him benefit there. That shouldn't have gone anywhere near enough.
Either way, the end result is an absolute Christmas present for Duncan Pisani from the worst imaginable position a couple of shots ago. Suddenly he's facing this black to win. He really does. He's lead cut and now leads by 3 frames to 2. Expected second chance for Malta in the last frame has allowed them to close their arrears to 1. Try a break there. Helping England's cause.
Malta's probably the #1 player.
Yeah, very highly regarded Clayton Attard. We were just talking before the match about one of those opponents you really don't fancy getting drawn against. Really relentless.
Yeah, super player.
30 seconds.
Yeah, with first visit and not a lot of options, eh? One red along the bottom rail and doesn't seem to have a lot following.
Great to see this Maltese team. Played it a bit firm. Great to see the Maltese team represented here. It's been a real international flavour. International representation on the live streaming tonight. Hello to the contingent we gather watching in Geneva. Good support, of course, from Malta and around a lot of the rest of the world.
Yeah. New team this year in the Worlds from Mauritius.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always impressed at the effort people have gone to get here. It's tough qualifying for your team, but all the added pressure of raising enough money through national organisations to fund the teams over here. This is, of course, the pinnacle if you play for your country, it's all about getting to tournaments like this, and there's no better feeling than having a good run in the World Championship.
No. Good run or no, there's just representing your country is an absolute honour. So. Great experience for anyone.
Great player, Jack Popel, been on the tour for 9 years. I remember playing him qualifiers when I was first getting on the tour. It was by far the most difficult match I had in the qualifying rounds. Thankfully we both made it through, but if it had been just up against him, it would have been a tricky proposition.
Getting back down for that red now. Probably would have liked half a dozen more inches, but that'll do.
Yeah, perfectly acceptable position this. Obviously got to be a little bit careful manoeuvring the white around, but very experienced player. He's had good individual success and a good run in the Masters a while ago.
He should have pretty natural position off this ball.
50 seconds.
Come back down for the one next to the black.
For all beginners watching, that's a great example of that two-cushion shot. So often when people are starting out, they just try and punch the ball off one cushion and straight down, but such a lovely natural angle when you can go around the corners like that, just brings the white back into the middle of the table.
Play for the low one here. And possibly out for the one in the middle, the screw back for the one in the middle pocket.
Yeah, I think he can leave himself on a choice of reds after this ball.
If he was playing for the one in the middle, I don't think he'll take it now.
No, he just drifted through. I mean, I think it's fine really to play it either way. You can screw up the left-hand side of the table off this one, I think.
The red might even go in this corner. It's hard to tell with that angle. If it's hard against the yellow, we can just stun and nudge into it, and we'll be fine.
50 seconds.
Sensibly not rushing it. It's a pretty simple finish by his standards, but just making absolutely sure he knows where the white's going.
Going for the nudge on the yellow.
I'd be surprised. I think it would have been an unnecessary risk. I thought he was just going to try and drift up and land on that. I think that red does go to the bottom right-hand corner pocket. I think he was probably just trying to be a bit straighter on that. Although actually, either way around is fine really, because he can pop this one bottom left and drop on the one in the middle,
Back
in the middle.
Yeah, it's not exactly where he wanted to land for sure, because he would have been down on the shot already.
Seconds.
Yeah, I mean, if it does go to the bottom right, the one in the middle of the table, it's all right, but it's just, you've got to be a bit careful with the white. I think this is the more sensible shot. I think you can just drop behind the other red for the left centre now. Yeah, I mean, it was a more extravagant shot to go behind the yellow, but in a way it sort of de-risked the shot slightly.
But that's, as you said, for your beginning viewers, if you're playing that off one cushion, you're running straight across the line of the shot you want to land on. You play it off two cushions and you're running straight back up the line.
Absolutely. He could have hit that more gently or harder and it would still have been virtually the same line.
Yeah. Yeah, so it becomes a higher percentage shot playing off two cushions. Doesn't sound like it makes sense, but it does.
Yeah.
Just unplayed it in the other middle, but
No, it took a bit longer looking at that. I think he perhaps just didn't quite have the right angle. I think he'd have played it quicker if he could have done that.
Well, and once again, he was crossing the line straight away, so he gets back
Yeah.
anywhere in that area and he's on it.
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely fine. It would have been even easier, a bit straighter, but still a very easy shot for a player of his calibre. Again, and then move on to the 4 frames to 2.
Ball potted.
A lot of people fancied Malta to do well here. It's been an okay start. You wouldn't say it's been a disaster, but they've let a few too many opportunities slip. I think if they're going to have serious aspirations of winning this title, they're going to need to tighten up substantially.
Yeah, absolutely. That's they do seem to be breaking a little better at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, they've been in first in several of the frames. The problems have generally come later on once they've potted a few balls, which is a costly way around.
Red balls in
Good
play.
straight away.
Yeah, that was a very nothingy shot. He didn't play it hard enough to cannon the ball out. He's messed up the position on the other one. I mean, it's still obviously got 2 or 3 pots that he can go for, but
If he stuns this in across the table now, it's not a bad shot playing the double and running back around.
Antione Aquilina, pardon me, for Malta here. Another person making his debut on the TV table as far as I'm aware.
He's got 4 balls beautifully out in the open and 1 horrible one.
Yeah, and he really need to have some plan in mind. No point potting the loose ones. It's up against Ben Flack for England, who's been Mr. Dependable over the years. You just know that given half a chance, he'll be hoovering these up.
Yeah, well, I don't know how true it is, but I've heard he's never lost a deciding frame for him.
No, I can't guarantee he's never lost one, but I can remember quite a few he's won, so that could certainly be true.
It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I really think he could have got on that double after his first shot.
Well, you just wonder what he's got in mind. He hasn't got enough angle off this one to disturb it.
He can probably get over there. And that looked like it was going to go wide to me, but which it has.
Perhaps we're doing him a disservice, but it looks to me almost more like hope than expectation the way he's going about these.
Yes, absolutely. And that never looked like the right angle to play that shot.
No, and it wasn't really the ideal way of playing the cannon. He's going to struggle to knock it into a really good possible position.
Honestly, he's better off at the moment trying to double this red back across and getting a bit of coverage.
Yeah, I'm not sure about... I may think he can get into it off 2 cushions here. Well,
Have a look at that.
that's a big result.
Well,
I mean, he played it like that, in fairness. I think he was trying to go up and down the table
look,
twice, but...
he's lucky to have got on the shot to play that, because he's missed the extraction in the first place and landed on that angle. So he's definitely seized to be hitting hope and just have a crack at all costs.
Yeah, I mean, that was never plan A from the beginning of the frame. That was a case of he landed on that with quite a fine angle and was able to get the cue ball travelling around. If he can drop this in and keep the white in the middle of the table, this will be an excellent opportunity.
Overcut it.
Overdone it there.
It's about the easiest shot he's had so far.
Yes. Well, that's never really felt to me like he was in perfect control. He looked like a decent enough player, but just not quite the level of composure that was going to be required to put all 8 balls in one visit.
Yeah, I'd say you may be understating that a little bit, saying not in perfect control. But I think if Ben can get on one of these yellows next to the black, which they look separated, so they both should go.
That was exactly the kind of clearance we've all played against so many times in club and league matches. Against a decent opponent, but not a brilliant one. They pass a few, they look quite good for a while, but you're just not sure they're going to take 8 in one visit. That was exactly the problem.
Yeah.
The good thing for Ben Flack here is that he doesn't need the pocket. I mean, he would have liked the use of the bottom right-hand corner pocket that's covered up, but he doesn't absolutely need it. I think those 2 yellows to the right of the black are a perfect plant for that pocket, but he's going to have to abandon that.
So he'd be
as an idea.
playing into him right now, I'd say. Or is he going to get round and play him back in this pocket?
I think he probably can drop behind them and play them back.
One thing I love about Ben's game, and I haven't seen a lot of him until this trip, but he does something a lot of players don't. He puts 100% commitment into every shot, regardless of what shot it is.
That's an excellent observation. Yeah, I mean that's, I would say, one of the key characteristics. He looks so intent and so focused. Some people, when they've got an easy shot, just get down and smash it, but you really wouldn't know from looking at his face whether the shot was easy or not, and that's such a valuable attribute.
I saw him do it the other day, and there was a black basically over the hole, and he still got down and did it the exact same way, and I thought, yeah, that's impressive. Because it's hard to do that.
And that's why he has that record in deciders. He doesn't take anything for granted. It also means that he's keeping exactly the same routine for each shot. The people that are playing some shots quickly and some slowly, they're kind of changing their own rhythm, whereas he just plays every one the same.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, routine's huge. You got to have routine to fall back on when you're under the pump and when things aren't going for you.
Exactly. When you're just playing casually and under no pressure, you can try out some things, think a bit more about it. Whereas here, there's a lot going on in your head. You don't want to be thinking about your own cue action. You just want to be able to get out there and do it.
Yeah, when you say to yourself, all right, I'm struggling, what do I normally do? And if you do a million different things, you can't answer that question.
Pinpoint positional play so far. The whites been in real control, haven't travelled very much. Just wants to try and get as close as he can to this last yellow on the top right hand side. It's not going to be a difficult pot if you're right behind it, but you wouldn't want to leave yourself too far away from it.
Just go on the side or up the top? Thought it was going up the top.
Yeah, that was a difficult situation. If the ball didn't go into the middle, which it evidently didn't, he wasn't really in prime position. He was having to really force that. Look what he's done. Not only has he missed, but though it wasn't easy enough, he's just knocked the remaining red even closer to the pocket.
Why would you go anywhere near that?
That's an extraordinary shot. I'm not sure why he'd play them that way around. It seemed that was about the only way you could get into trouble. If you just played the one on this side first, there's no way you could have saved it.
Yeah, that's there's no excuse for going anywhere near that black ball. I know you're under a lot of pressure out there and it's a very tough situation, but I mean, you've got to look at the table there and go, this is the only thing that can go wrong. Don't do that.
Well, yes, I mean, if you're Ben Flack, you're thinking, well, nothing's going to go wrong. What could I even dream might go wrong? And that was about as good as you could get.
And now he hasn't even hit it hard enough to pot it, which is, I can't comprehend. At least give it a chance of going in.
Yes, that's a strange shot. I'm almost left wondering if he thought he had 2 visits. Why, as you say, why would you play it like that? I mean,
I don't mean a lot harder.
No,
just with a foot apace.
I suppose he's thinking his only chance of winning is if Ben misses one of these, and at least if he misses, the ball is still over the pocket. This shot isn't unmissable, and the position is going to take a bit of work. That's a beautiful pot. Yeah, has the white come across far enough to leave a straightforward yellow? No, it hasn't.
Has to leave a snooker.
Yeah, he slightly lost control of that. He wanted the white further down the table and further to the right. Although, in fairness to him, there was enough difficulty in that pot that it made sense to make sure of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Where's the snooker on this ball? He's just going for the double.
50 seconds.
Close, but not close enough. And that's an example of how hard snookers are to play on this table, because from that angle you thought maybe he could have just nudged off the side of it and left empty only snookered. Another poor positional shot there, though.
It's not great. Should be good enough, but not great.
Good enough. Without leaving himself a bit of difficulty at the end. Ten-minute mid-session interval now coming up. Do join us for the second session after that. As we rejoin the action, things are hotting up nicely in the second team semi-final. Looks for all the world like England could put together a run of frames, but they were pegged back in the last one, leading only by a single frame at 4-3 at the moment. Butters, I don't know what you think there, but it kind of felt like if they'd have won that frame they could really have run away with it, whereas now it's given Malta a bit of a lifeline to properly get back into.
Yeah, they've certainly got away with a couple there, Malta. Just having a look at this team sheet. I mean, England still look pretty confident, but I was just noticed one thing on the team sheets, and they've got Malta have got
Go
Clayton
back to the
Adder
referee,
down as
Peter
last.
Arundale.
Yeah. If it comes down to the last frame, whoever the selectors are and choose the order are geniuses. If England win, he doesn't get a game. It's going to look a little bit silly.
Yeah, it's such a difficult balance to get right, isn't it? You want somebody that would win the decider if you got to a decider, but if you don't even get there, it's a bit pointless.
Yeah. So Ben Flack, normally the anchor, is in the middle of the order this time. And we've got another dry break. Beautiful spread though.
We saw an interesting example of that in last year's televised stages. Ireland ended up fielding a player who hadn't played a single frame for the team on television before to play the deciding frame. Such a tough experience.
Oh yeah. Sure it was a real highlight for him. If he remembers any of it because of nerves and adrenaline.
Quite.
So this layout looks pretty good. And the yellow's one of those ones, if you clear all your reds and fall at the last hurdle, the yellows are going to be very easy as well.
This is a rematch of the first frame of the match. Rob Warren bringing them against Johan Attard of Malta. And the last time they played, Johan cleared up in one go and Rob didn't have the opportunity. At the moment, looks like history could be repeating itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's strange actually, the only...
We see there Joe Fante, the president of the World Eightball Pool Federation, one of your compatriots.
Yes. Yeah, Australian president as well. But in a world capacity here.
A long-standing supporter of the tournament. He's been over from Adelaide every year since it started.
He doesn't mind a bit of commentary now and then either.
No, pleasure of his company on a number of occasions.
It's a fair mistake there. He's overplayed the hell out of that actually. He only needed to nudge the red or yellow.
Yeah, it was unnecessarily firm. I think he'll probably feel that it was such a big target he couldn't miss it. But I suppose as it turns out.
All evidence to the contrary.
Yes, absolutely. He's obviously got an easy pot here, but then going to be in seriously big trouble if he knocks that in and doesn't have a plan for the two on the right hand side.
Well, they can play into that red now. And he's missed it and just hit the yellow, so these are this has gone wrong for him.
Yes, I don't know what he thought. Whether he thought he could knock that yellow out of the way and take the top red to the middle and the other one to the corner. It's obviously not panned out like that. It didn't seem that he'd quite hit it hard enough to properly get it out.
He's played that well.
Yeah, that's a decent containing shot. He was in a slightly nasty position, but managed to just about retain the initiative. That was a positive shot. Rob Warren could try and double the yellow on the left tack over this right hand corner pocket, where he may just decide to run and hide.
Well, he needs to get up by the top right corner.
Well, a bit of both. He's gone for the double, trying to get the white safe as well.
Yeah, I don't think he really needed to leave him off this corner ball. I'm not sure if the red to the right passes would have passed into this corner, but the main one was keeping him off this. So
Yeah, very much so, because it's a spot where he can play a positional shot onto the last red if he wants to.
yeah, and it does go in the middle.
So this was exactly the face of a man that was certain what he wants to do, strolling around the table looking a bit nervous still.
You can't go for the extraction here. It's just, well, he's not even taking it.
The trouble with this is you can't see how he's not going to leave a shot on the yellows.
Yeah, and they're all there. The black's nowhere near the pocket
Well, I know he wasn't
to call that coverage.
by any means certain it was an acute angle to pot it into the middle, but I think it's better to have a shot rather than no shot at all.
Certainly a better chance of going in than a double.
Well, Rob Ward will settle for that. I mean, Rob Ward must be licking his lips to get back to the table in this kind of position.
Oh, yeah, as good as they are. Yeah, very interesting shot. Played previously, so very good opportunity. They're just going to tuck up. Oh, that plant was just off.
Yeah, I think they could have squeezed it in, but no need to take a chance, he figured. I mean, the shot that Johan Assad played, the previous shot, was the kind of shot you'd play against a less good opponent. If you're trying to just keep things tight, get your balls into good positions and expect another go, then I think it's the right shot. But against a player of Rob Warren's calibre, I'm not sure quite how he saw it panning out, really.
Well, I'll be perfectly honest, I don't think that shot ever would have popped into my head.
No. I mean, I think if you were playing a league match, it would probably have been a valid shot, but at this kind of level, I can't see it.
So he probably takes the plant now and leaves a big pocket for the other one down the rail.
Yeah, so many choices here. The yellows are all nice.
Excuse me.
The only even slight problem is going to be the black. It's not a problem, but it'll need to play a proper positional shot to get on it.
Yeah, I don't think it'll cause him too many problems.
A slightly looser shot. I mean, it's no harm done, but not sure he would necessarily have intended playing this one next. Back in good position now, though.
Yeah, probably take the one in the middle of the table now, so you're not queuing over it.
Yeah, if this is straight to the top left, it's definitely worth getting out of the way.
Yeah, well, it's a good angle just to run down. Get
Yeah,
on the other one in the same pocket. He's landed beautifully in the gap there, so no queuing issues.
Simple screw shot to get across for the other one.
Oh,
Well, that is not the kind of shot you'd expect Warren to be missing. Nothing really to do. Just needed to drop it in, screw across slightly to the right hand side.
yeah, just a little twitch.
So a result and a half to have covered this pocket. I mean,
Well, and left him off the other one.
yeah, to miss it where he did, you wouldn't imagine you'd cover that pocket. This will be a very frustrating situation for Johan Assad. I mean, he'll be glad, of course, to get back to the table, and that's perhaps more than he would have expected, but goodness.
Oh, it's a clever shot, but
Yeah, it's a clever shot. I mean, it is throwing down the gauntlet somewhat. If he's left this yellow to the bottom right dead straight, it's going to make it a bit more difficult for Rob Warren, because if he's just off straight, he'd probably play it a bit firmer. If he's going to drop it in dead weight, it is missable.
the crowd appreciated that.
He's going to have to take the one in the middle first. The last ball is fine and may even be a big pocket, but it's not the easiest positional shot to get onto the black.
No, I think he might have to play the one up the top
Yeah,
and then
maybe
just
he
run
does.
across towards that middle pocket. stiff arm on that as well.
Yeah, like I thought he'd play the other one just because it looked a very difficult positional shot to. I mean, he's not on the yellow in any shape or form, is he?
Yeah, well, he's missed it to the wrong side, so.
Yeah, and that side has been handed more than one lifeline in this frame. Absolutely has to take it now. Be a key frame to win. We haven't seen any of this so far from England. It spurned several very good opportunities in this frame. Rob Warren will be extremely annoyed with himself if he does go on to lose it.
Yeah, you can understand him being a bit anxious out there after not getting to the table in his first frame.
Absolutely. And Johan Attard, if he manages to beat Rob twice, will be feeling very pleased with himself.
He'll be over the moon.
Be easy enough to forget the slightly lax shots he's played to get them.
Like that one.
And again, simple shot. I mean, it's okay. He's not expecting to miss it even now, but could have made it a bit easier for himself. Safely down though. Suddenly, having been a couple of frames ahead and motoring, England stuttered slightly. Malta level it up. It's now 4 frames all. Beforehand, he fancied Malta for the job here. 4-2 down. It's perhaps starting to look a slightly shaky prediction, but right back in it now. And not just right back in it, but I think England will be getting increasingly frustrated with the way this is going. They've let several slip, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a big frame for them. They've got first look, a dry break here. Yellows look pretty good. Not sure how that plant looks. Looks like it might be just off.
Michael Hope stepping up for England. Had a little wobble in his first frame, but got it over the line.
Starting to hit that a little bit. Should be able to pot this clean. Nice if you could screw off this and get a nudge on that plant down here.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from this angle where that plant's going. If it's straight on, he'll obviously be happy with it, but if not...
He's done. Familiar face. A lot of familiar faces there, actually.
Yeah, good support for the team final.
Yeah, get off your phones.
We'll give her the benefit of the doubt and suggest she's updating somebody with the score, perhaps.
Yeah, no, Tanya Ahmet there from Australia. I have absolutely no doubt she's updating scores. So what's he got? He is on the bottom one, so that's okay. Just needs to squeeze past. Is there a gap or not? I reckon he might be in trouble.
I'd be horrified if he stuck that onto the red. The England team
I don't
look a
look
bit
real
nervous.
pleased with it. Not looking quite as jovial as they did half an hour ago.
No, they really aren't. You wouldn't believe what a difference it is.
There we go, that a chance.
Yeah, that's a little disappointing from Michael Hope. He's had a phenomenal week getting to the individual semi-finals. Been relentless. We've seen this so many times, though. People who are unstoppable in singles matches, really struggling. I mean, he just played. I suppose the cannon, it was a little bit hard to tell how it was going to turn out, but he's played a couple of loose shots to follow up.
That's not ideal either.
No, that really isn't. These shots are difficult enough into the middle without being hampered. Going to limit what he can do positionally.
Yeah, it looks a lot tougher from that angle. No, he's not even going to go for it. There's a lot of body movement on that shot.
Yeah, particularly for a fairly straightforward shot.
Mm.
Trouble is there, he's turned down a ball he really wanted to move in favour of potting one of the quite easy ones. He's still got this problem over the left-hand side.
Yeah, well,
Needs to get back there now.
I think because he landed Chinese.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him for doing it. But
well, he couldn't do anything with the white, yeah.
Well, not really the right outcome, but actually it's probably quite a good outcome if you're feeling nervous, just to bide yourself a bit of time in the frame.
You pot this long one to the left and get back up there on that yellow. Great pot.
Yeah, I mean, there's no safety option, so Michael Hopes may as well go for this. Pots these two down the bottom of the table, leaves himself an angle to drop in behind the one at the top.
Yeah, one good positional shot. And they really need it too.
Yeah, they really do, and that's not a situation we were expecting. England are normally the more composed of whatever team they're facing in televised stages.
They're far enough. Got a bit of angle. Doesn't look like a hell of a lot though. It is deceiving. We'll assume he's got that right.
Yeah, he wouldn't want to be too straight here. It would have been easier to have an angle where he can hit it gently. If he's got to force it, it'll be harder to judge.
Got plenty.
Turn out to be a decent angle.
He's hit as well.
It's the
He's
weight
gonna
light.
have a shot on it.
Well, if he's landed anywhere near straight to the bottom left-hand corner pocket, that's a result.
You'd just be happy to have a shot. Doesn't have to do too much with the white.
No, it looks like he might have a bit of angle if you can play the white off the right-hand side cushion if need be. He's very happy with the way he left it. That could have finished a lot more awkward.
Super finish.
Not without some trouble, but Michael Hope won his second frame of this match, and an important one for England.
Medium 5 time running.
Welcome back to the Imperial Hotel in Blackpool, venue for the 2015 World Pool Championships. Thank you once again to our sponsors. Lucky to have best possible equipment here. Lovely Supreme table, Strawn cloth, Aramith balls. Perfect playing conditions for these players. Although somehow hard to enjoy the aesthetics of the table when you've got all this crowd around you. All you can really think about is not embarrassing yourself when you go out. I think when you're fairly new to this and haven't played too much on television, you just really want a chance. You know you're a great player. Everybody at the venue knows you're a great player, but you just want people that are watching to see that as well.
Absolutely.
It can be very easy to end up looking fairly average, even if you're the best player in your country, never mind. Once you start struggling, extra pressure.
It can be very nerve-wracking playing on cameras for the first time. He's in real trouble here, Carl.
Yeah, Antione looks like he's got somewhere else to be. He's possibly rushing around the table. Well, he's still got a pot, but that's not really the best shot. He wanted to get over to the right-hand side of the table and sort matters out there. This will be okay if he can leave him, pot the one on the left. If he can't see the ones on the right, he'll leave himself an angle.
If he does miss it though, he could leave Carl underneath a lot of these yellows.
Gavin Lomax there on the left, won his first frame, alongside the England team manager Steve Mills, watching intently. Again, not taking much time about this, straight into it. Yeah, it's worked out pretty well. In fact, it's worked out very well. If he's dropped on that one in the middle as well, that makes it even easier. Can take these either way around. Probably drop the one in the middle first.
Not a lot to do with the white.
Quite go as far as saying that he's made this look an easy finish. There have been a couple of moments you haven't been quite sure what he had in mind, but he's actually sequenced it together pretty well. Yeah, I mean, it shows different ways of going about it. A lot of players would have played a more difficult position of shot and left a much easier black, but obviously fancies the black from distance. If you're a good enough and confident enough potter that you're never going to miss that, then I think it's fine to leave it where he did. But if you're ever going to miss it, there's no need. It was a simple enough position of shot to get much closer than that.
Yeah, it was hard to go wrong.
And look at the position that Carl Sutton finds himself in. This is like some kind of warm-up at the club where you've thrown the balls on the table before you've got started.
The extraction first ball. There it is. Big swing here.
Big rules now from the England team, willing their man on.
Missed black for 5-all to change that to 5-all to 6-4 is a big difference in a race to 8.
Yeah, you can't help feel that's going to be a very significant frame in the context of this match.
That's right.
So unnecessary, done all the hard work. I mean, it's very much a matter of personal preference. Some people are good potters and not so good at the position, so prefer to just play things in a very ABC way and leave themselves a long pot. If it had been me in that position, I'd have definitely been trying to get the white much closer to the middle of the table to leave a black that you just couldn't miss.
Look, I understand that theory, but that was if it was fraught with danger, but it wasn't.
No, I mean, there was nothing to it. I mean, it was the pot needed a bit of attention, but it just had to dig a bit deeper into the key ball and would have brought the white back further.
A little bit finer than you would have liked. No problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, he's slightly lost control of the key ball the last couple of shots. He's obviously got a shot still, but been absolutely pinpoint position.
Just avoid the middle.
Looked very composed in his first frame, Carl Sutton. Looked composed here. I think in an ideal world he'd have kept slightly tighter control of the white, but he's continuing to knock them in.
Slightly overhit that as well.
Yeah, just needs one more good shot.
Watch the off a little bit. Pinch a little bit of pocket.
Yeah, you can see just on the right hand side as we look at it, just to make sure he avoided the end-off.
Yeah.
But an easier black than the one that Antonio missed a moment ago. We can say for sure that Carl Sutton won't be missing this. Could have been 5-all for Malta, really put England under it. Been a real let-off. England now lead by 6 frames to 4.
Time running.
As we come into the 11th frame, England will be by far the happier of the two teams. Massive let-off in that last frame. What could so easily have been 5-all, seeing the host nation take a 6-4 lead. See this beautiful overhead shot.
A couple of strange shot choices in the last few frames.
Yeah, there have been. Malta have played some good shots, but from my way of thinking, they've played some unusual shots. Antonio Aquilina played a shot in the last frame where we both thought that it would have been far better to play good position on the black, whereas he just seemed to drop the last ball and left himself a black that wasn't difficult but was missable, and ultimately he did miss it.
Yeah, in these situations, I mean, semi-finals of the world teams, there's only one match that has more pressure than this, and that's the match tomorrow. So you want your blacks to be as easy as possible as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Sort of style of play almost puts you in mind of Tony Drago, the most famous Maltese cueist, phenomenal cueist, and runs around the table knocking them in. But he's the kind of guy that's very happy to leave himself a more difficult shot, not worry so much about position. That may go down as the most unusual shot of the match so far.
That was a huge twitch on him.
I missed it by so far, I can't even work out what he was trying to do. Well, Duncan Prassani won his first frame against the England captain, which you would have thought would have buoyed his confidence, but didn't appear to be the case.
I think he was in a bit of strife in that frame, and until Lee Kendall got a pretty big kick.
Yeah, I was speaking to the England team at the break. They felt that Kenny, well, he wasn't sure it was a kick. He just felt he hadn't quite got a hold of the cue ball properly. But either way, it was an uncharacteristic let-off.
It certainly came off at a funny angle.
Yeah, I mean, it was a shot that you wouldn't see Lee play very often. A model of consistency with the cue ball.
He was in pretty good position here.
Yeah.
Really one yellow that needs to be moved.
I think Ben Flack will be particularly keen to get this one on the board. He allowed his opponent something of a let-off in the first session. A characteristic one by his standards, so he'll want to make amends for that.
Where's he going now?
I think it's a fairly settled England team. I'd be surprised to find them fielding a very different lineup in the final, but equally the team is so good with so many good reserves that you don't want to have too many bad frames, otherwise it must start going through your mind that there'll be somebody ready to take your place.
Well, I mean, you got Davenport and Dave Fernandez watching.
Yeah, I mean, if the players that aren't playing would, I think it's fair to say, walk into virtually any other team in this tournament.
Yeah.
Gets
another go at it.
Going right around the back there of the yellow he was attempting to move.
Still not too much damage. He can have another crack at it here if he wants. Just tougher now to guarantee yourself a shot afterwards.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem here. It's relatively easy to play the cannon, although he's going to have to get into the cue ball, but it's kind of knocking the ball the wrong way, and it's just not quite sure whether there's a good chance that the white will end up stuck at this end of the table if he plays that shot.
Yeah, if he can catch it half ball on the left, he'd be magnificent, but hard to guarantee that. It's half ball on the other side.
Yeah, that's exactly the issue. It's not disastrous, but it's not clearly in prime position now.
Probably got cut back in the middle, but in-off looks pretty good too.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult positional shot. I think he may be able to clip it fine enough that he avoids the in-off to the left of the pocket, but the cue ball's going to be flying around if he doesn't.
We can cut the other yellow across. We might have to overcut this to make sure he doesn't get into that red either.
Yeah, this is not without its problems, because if he does happen to miss this shot, the reds are going to be fairly nice. If he's going to do anything, he'd sooner leave it near the pocket, because that will at least stymie one of the reds.
He's got away with this, look at that.
Yeah, it's pretty rough by his standards.
It's amazing how they rolled out together. Unfortunately, Eightball injuring billiard show, those two balls rolling along the cushion like that.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of moments of that in this final. People have missed shots and had very unlikely outcomes that have allowed them to get away with it.
Well, they're unleashing the arm a bit and having a good crack at it.
Yeah.
When everyone's just steering balls around the table, you don't see anything lucky.
No, that's very true. I mean, that over the years has been the formula for success on this table. It's a big, fast table. You don't really want to let go of the balls. Once they start flying around, they don't stop for quite some time, and it's hard to be sure where they're going to end up.
Looking at a containing shot here, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. In his first frame, he sort of got caught between two things in the first frame. He had a go at a couple of things I thought maybe he wouldn't, and then played a couple of safeties I thought he might not. But I can't really see him going for the finish here.
It's hard to read what a first timer may do out there under the
Yeah,
bump. He's just going to bump in behind this.
you'd have to say on balance that's the wise option, particularly as it was possible to get behind it. He's playing a pretty telling shot here.
Yeah, nice speed control.
That's something that a lot of people have struggled with. We've seen some terrible attempts at people trying to play safety shots like that.
They're very tricky when it's this quick. And as you said, with the TV lights on, it speeds it up even more. So.
It's an absolutely beautiful table to play on when you're playing well, because every shot's possible. Like shots that are just never possible in a club, you can play with so much speed and you can get so much pace in. But when you're struggling to control the white, it's just like you're playing on ice. You just can't get hold of it.
It was unfortunate there. He played really good shooting, but he's left him in the gap. Didn't look possible.
No, that's an annoying result for Van Fleck. Still not. There's a few options that are fine for Pisani, but I don't think there's anything quite as easy as he'd fancy. He looks to me, he was a bit edgy in the first frame even though he won it. He looks to me like he just really wants a clearance with all the balls somewhere in the middle where he doesn't have anything too awkward to do.
Safe again. He's left him on this yellow, but he can't really do anything with it anyway.
No, he's biding his time well. He's also freed up the most difficult of the reds, so if he does get back to the table with a shot at anything, it's an easier finish.
We're trying to create a bit of angle here to pot this. Be careful with the white shooting through this gap too.
You can see from the movement of the white how much side he had on that. He was trying to just turn it over with a bit of left hand side, but it didn't take until too late.
He needs a good pot here. He'd be in pretty good shape. But he can't just roll it.
No, I don't think he quite believe he's coming back to the table with an ostensibly good position, but just not quite an easy enough start.
The only way he can just roll this is if he plays the reddies right next to him. Across next.
Yeah, I mean, he really needs to play this in quite a positive way as well. You really want to just drop it. I mean, he has played the positive shot. He's got what he's deserved. He's got a good position in the last row. Beautiful, supreme table that they're contesting this semi-final on.
With a wood grain finish.
Such good playing conditions. Almost too good for some of the players. It's just so much better than you often find in clubs that it takes some adjustment.
Well, it's pretty different when you come from a country that doesn't have them.
No, absolutely. It's slightly different. I mean, you play the same game on a very slightly different table, I guess is the best way of describing it.
Yeah, they only look slightly different, but they're very different to play on. But they're great. I love them. Fantastic to play on.
Yeah, I remember the first time I played in Australia, went into the club and you sort of look familiar, but then you look at them and think, oh, it's just not quite the same.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Should be right here, just depending on the angle he's got on the left-hand one. I don't totally agree with playing this because this can go wrong.
No, we saw a shot exactly like this earlier where the player took what seemed to be the wrong ball in this position with just two left.
He hasn't cued the middle of that, so he's left himself tricky.
No, I
There's
don't
nothing
quite
wrong.
understand the logic of that. It just seemed like you were far more likely to leave a shot you didn't like afterwards.
Yeah, just play this ball first, punch it off the back cushion, and you didn't need to come out too far to have a cut on it. But you were natural on the black anyway. Now it's really awkward.
Yeah, I mean, really, he needs to dig down and get some screw on it. But you can see as he's trying to get his hand on the table, it's just not a very comfortable position to adopt.
And he's shaking, which will make it easier.
So easy to key across these. Any unwanted sign. Nice, that well to if you were a betting man, you would have credited him playing it quite as well as them.
I was giving him even money at best.
No. That's a beautiful shot. And from a neutral's point of view, an important one. It's got this match back into the balance. Just this black. Something different. England let them off there. Just leading by 6 frames to 5. Well, if the first semi-final was one-sided, this one's been anything but. It looks like one team's going to get some momentum. The other one seems to come back at them. Malta have spurned a few opportunities along the way here. They'll probably be fairly relieved to only be 1 frame behind.
Another dry break from England.
Yeah, and a new face for England. A new face in the context of this match. Shane Thompson stepping up for his first look. This is the thing about the England team, it's such a production line. We haven't seen much of Shane Thompson in this kind of event before, but he's had a great run in other events in England. Certainly no stranger to the English pool community.
Good opening shot from Malta. I don't mind the reds here though. It's only the one trouble ball, and the yellows are a bit dodgy as well.
Fair to say that Ray Carana had a few difficulties in his first match.
Yeah, continuing on in this. Yeah.
Yeah, important opportunity this for Shane Thompson. I think when you're comparatively new coming into this stage of the tournament for England, you really want to prove yourself. So hard to get into this England team, and even harder to get into the first few names on the team sheet. He's going to want to make a good job of this.
Especially in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, this is what everybody dreams of. It's one thing to be part of the England squad, but to actually get to the World Championship final, that's the crowning glory of most people's pool careers.
Yeah, I can imagine so. He's looking pretty relaxed around the table. Taking it nice and slow.
Yeah, he's an excellent player. Great singles record. This has been a much longer match than our first semi-final. It's going to be a late night finish for whichever of the teams prevails.
There's only a maximum of 4 frames to go.
Somehow I don't think pool players ever really mind late night finishes. You hear a lot of complaints about people having early matches, comparatively few again about the late one.
He's just taking his time, working out how to open this red up. She should be using one of the balls in the middle.
Pretty good angle is left himself.
Right about now will do it.
Seems to think about how he's going to contact these. Perhaps the joint of the two balls would be an obvious way of splitting them out.
Yeah, well, if he hits the red clean, it's likely to just hit the yellow on the bottom cushion stop.
Yeah.
But he probably doesn't want to catch one full ball either, because then he's not going to be on anything.
No, this is tricky because it really needs the red to come on and off the cushion, but if it goes too far then he'll tie it up with the other one. May decide to play it firmer and just bash it right out of that area.
What's going on there?
Played a controlled shot and lost control. And the in-off was obviously unlucky, but he shouldn't have been anywhere near the black. He was trying to slide past the black and hit the red and yellow. Also not entirely sure at the pace he played it. It kind of felt to me like he was just going to knock the red onto the cushion and have it tied up again.
Well, he put a bit of bottom on it looked like. I thought it was just pretty natural.
Now this is the first really clear-cut chance for Ray Carana. He's looked to me like a good player, but one that hasn't entirely settled on this stage yet.
It's still a bit tricky. If you can get on the one, yeah, that's not bad. You play this with a bit of running side and open that yellow up. That should
Yeah,
all
this
be
is
pretty
actually quite a
good.
good angle because it, in a way, it'll help the pot playing it like that. So
Yeah.
you just drop it slowly along the cushion. And again, the most advantageous thing is probably to hit the joint of the two of them, because then you'll leave the white where it is and open them both up. But any kind of contact will be pretty much okay.
All right. Now he's got a bit of a test.
Well, a smile from the Malta manager. I think probably a smile combined with a grimace. He'd rather have had his player still with the two shots there. He was a little bit careless to miss the pot, even though he was concentrating on the cannon. But still, I mean, you couldn't really ask for a much more straightforward position. See how quick this table is. He's hardly touched that. It's flown off. Still in good position there.
Ideally, you take that one in the middle,
Yeah,
the left middle.
if it was just an inch further to the right, it would be an absolute formality. But still, you can certainly still play that shot from him. That was the nervy shot he missed earlier, one into the middle.
Straight into the jaw.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to have to hit this because he's going to have to screw back on it a bit as well. That's okay. It's not too far. Further than he was aiming for, but
Yeah, he's left this thinner, but the trade-off for that is at least he's nowhere near being hampered, but so get a proper strike on this. We've seen how quick these tables are. He's going to have to hit this quite slowly.
inside.
That's a good idea. We were talking earlier about the benefits of playing off 2 cushions. It allowed him to hit it just that bit firmer than if he'd only played off 1.
Yeah, allows you to cue the ball a bit better.
That's a close left from Malta. A few nervous moments in this match, but like they're starting to gain in confidence. I think they're walking apart, if they were mistaken. Malta levels up again. 6-6.
Time running.
Been moments where it looked like England might run away with this match, but Malta are refusing to lie down as they break off. The score's level at 6 apiece. Nothing potted though.
A lot of dry breaks.
Yeah, earlier on this evening, people seem to have a measure of the table, but the last few frames, nobody's found it easy to put off the break.
Really tough starter here. You've got to have a dip at the yellows, I think. Reds look average. Very average. There's not much of a shot. You got that long yellow or cut the same yellow in the middle. Horrible shot into the middle.
Yeah, you kind of know you've got to go for the positive shot, but you don't love it.
Got to watch the black here too. He's alright if he goes that one, that's not even close.
Open table.
Yeah, it's not nice when that's your first shot. You've already had a few frames and you've got your eye, and it's one thing, but it's been a while since Jack Popel's last been to the table. It's
Yeah.
a tricky opening.
Take the yellow over the corner, obviously.
Nervous moments for Lee Kendall, the England captain. He's up next. Either going to have a frame to win the match or a frame to keep England in the match. Nervous faces all along the row, in fact. Gavin Lomax on the left will be playing the decider should it come to it.
Yeah, and Millsy's not jumping for joy.
No, plenty of attention at the mid-session interval was going into the order for this final session. I think England knew that they weren't necessarily going to run away with it, so there was always the chance it might go down to the last frame. You were commenting at the beginning that you weren't sure of the wisdom of leaving arguably Malta's best player, Clayton Attard, until last, but Looking more and more likely he's going to get a frame now.
Yeah, as I said at the time, you look stupid if he doesn't get a game, and you're a genius if it comes down to the last frame. So at the moment, it's more likely that they're looking like a genius.
Positive shot there from Wayne Benici. Still a bit of work to do there.
Yeah, plenty to do. And all the ones he's moved have opened reds up as well.
50 seconds.
In principle, it is possible to play balls the length of the table like this, but you've got to be very accurate. If you once brush the cushion, it's never going in.
It's in.
Hits it well though. There's been some better cueing from Malta in the last couple of frames. Even a few loose ones early on, but
Yeah, they seem to have just slowed down a little bit. Just settled into it.
yeah, they're all such good players. You sometimes watch people play and you think they look a bit amateurish when they miss a couple of balls, but actually deep down they're all brilliant once they get going. It's just a case of settling down and getting rid of those early nerves.
Yeah, it's you tend to want to rush yourself at that minute when you're under the pump and you haven't settled. That minute can go very quickly.
It's a funny thing, a 60-second time limit, because very few players are ever taking longer than 60 seconds to play a shot. But suddenly, as soon as somebody tells you you've got the time limit, it's the only thing in your mind
Yeah.
when you're faced with a difficult position.
Oh, look, I think it's too long. I think it should be 45 maximum. But yeah, it can go very quickly when you're unsure and doubting yourself.
Yeah, it's something that's crept into all cue sports over the years. Back in the old days of old EPA rules, games were slower in every single way. People played slower, more tactical. It just doesn't make for good viewing.
It's horrible. In the old rules, I remember before, it was 94, I think the world rules came in Australia and games started to change. But before that, yeah, you'd play a frame of doubles. It was nothing for it to go for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we're all very used to the rule. There have been a number of changes to the rules over the years, but one of the key ones that's changed is the fact you have to make contact with the cushion after you've hit a ball, which stops people just rolling up behind things.
Yeah.
People used to... It's still something of a game of chess, but it used to be a real game of chess. And you'd see some people that would make an art form of not potting anything.
Yeah, that's right.
They almost took it as a badge of honour to have as many balls left on the table as possible.
You want more money in the game, it's got to be a spectator sport, and who in their right mind would want to watch that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like competitive billiards. Incredibly difficult to play to a high standard, but just not very watchable.
Yeah. Yeah, I was mentioning to Sean earlier today when we were calling the singles semis that it really makes a difference in Australia now. You notice that we've got an entire generation of world rules players. So they weren't brought up playing the tactical game, they all pot. And it's, 20 years ago, it was only a handful of people that would be able to dish.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now everyone can. Everyone in every division just about, so.
Yeah, I remember playing in leagues years ago when they'd have prizes for the most breaks and dishes in a season, and it would be comparatively modest numbers, whereas now everyone's so geared up to doing it, like you lose count of your own, never mind of the
There's no
whole
point
league.
counting them. Oh, that was an adventurous shot.
Yeah, that was a big shot, and I would have missed it, but relieved that he didn't knock the yellow in the press.
And even more relieved to get it where he's left it.
Timeout.
Unless it's touching ball.
Referee Mr. Armitage is just examining the situation. It's obviously close. The conclusion is that it's not touching. Which looks like Mr. Benici isn't convinced of that decision.
I won't take your word for it, I'll have a look myself. No, the refs have been great.
Yeah, it's a really thankless job. No one notices the referee until they do something wrong, and then everyone's happy to jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, of course, but they've been fantastic.
We've had an excellent standard. Peter Armitage has been around for a while and is one of the top referees in the game. It was very important whether or not that was touching, because if it had been touching, he could just have played away from it, which would have left open a raft of options, whereas having to just skim off it like that, it cut it right down.
Well, this is a pretty good opportunity now. He's got a great angle on that ball in the middle to do something with his couple of dead ones up the top in the Borg area.
20 seconds.
Huge frame.
Yeah, big
Absolutely monstrous frame.
Whoever wins it is going to have 2 goes to get over the line, which is important when you're under this much pressure.
Yeah. I don't know what he was trying to do there exactly, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't it.
Yeah, it's been a vintage performance so far from Jack Popel. He's gone for a couple of tricky pots and missed them both, and now he's struggling to completely get hold of the cue ball. And this is the kind of finish where you can just get back into proper position. These all go, but they don't go if you're the wrong side of them.
Well, you either got to just get this dead one out or play this long one here and get back down there. Okay, so we can run through on this onto either of those two on the right.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to that area in the top left of the table. I don't think the pocket's available, but he's going to have to get the white somewhere over there. He's going to put the last 2 balls.
He's certainly going about it a strange way, but that could be because he got the either cannon. He didn't want the cannon, or he got the cannon wrong that he played
Yeah,
2 shots previously.
I think he'd have had a different plan when he started, but he just never quite had the cue ball in position. Better now, though. He is in.
Ooh.
So he's in good position. It's turned out pretty well, I think.
Still got to leave it. Well, hang on. He's just had a look to see if that goes underneath.
Yeah, well, that's the question, because if that red goes along the top cushion and you can open up the top left-hand corner pocket, this is a very different thing.
Absolutely.
Well, I wonder if he was playing that. Like you thought, maybe he was just going to drop that one into the middle and play the 2 balls long, but it looked like he was trying to force the cue ball up.
30 seconds.
It's funny, from overhead, that red near the middle looks so easy, but from that angle it shows how incredibly acute it is.
Looks horrible, doesn't it?
It's almost unplayable from there. You look at it like this, you wouldn't think it was a very difficult shot at all.
No. This is
He's got to get this right. He's had 1 go at opening this pocket up, which he got
he's
totally
got to get
wrong.
he's got to get the white right too.
Yeah, it's going to be moving around. Well, half of it was good and half of it was bad.
No hiding now.
Well, in fact, perhaps it's fair to say a third of it was good. The ball went in, but the yellow hasn't come away from the pocket very far. I don't know if that red goes past it, but it's going to be fairly tight. Far more importantly, he's left an absolutely horrible shot here.
Well, he's almost got to take the inside one. The one closest to the right cushion.
Yeah,
Otherwise he can't get back on it.
I think that's the right shot, but it's very hard
That's horrible.
when you look at it to convince yourself that it is the right shot. Not that the one on the left's exactly a formality.
At least if he, well, he's not taking it, but at least if he took the one closest to the cushion, he'll play it dead weight and he's still got the other one in the middle.
It's a big shot in the context of this match for Jack Popel. Right.
You know what do you do? Roll this in and double it.
Nothing out of the woods yet.
Yeah, I thought if he played the one closest to the cush, just rolled it up there, if it goes in, he could play across the table into the middle and get position on the left one.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think it was just such a horrible shot. He just couldn't convince himself he wanted to do that.
And I totally understand that.
The problem is, he's played 1 good shot, but the way things stand, he's going to need 2 more very good shots. And you can double this, or potentially you can try and drop it in the middle, but neither is very attractive.
Played the face cut double and it's wide. Oh, he's got a bit lucky there too.
Yeah, knocking that yellow safe on the left-hand side is a real bonus. Didn't ultimately get very close to the double. He'd have been snookered if the ball had gone in.
Yeah, dead right. Bit of a wry smile there. Sitting there going, well, that's something.
Not for the first time this evening. We've said there wasn't really much else to go for, and it's not like Jack had an easy shot in place of that double. He did really have to go for it. It was just a difficult shot, and he didn't get that close.
I think this is the right shot.
Yeah, frustrating to have to play it, because once that double missed, he must have been thinking he was going to come to the table in a much more straightforward position.
What do you do now? Triple. Triple and put the one in the middle. Can't be that hard in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably all he can sensibly go for, because just resting on one of these balls is
Not good enough.
not really helpful, is it?
No, you need to pot one.
Actually, the line of the triple isn't that bad to pick out, and if you hit it, there's a good chance you might end up, if you play it kind of dead weight, that you might end up on the other one. So
Yeah, or even behind it.
it's clearly not a formality, but it's worth going for.
It's the second bounce that's hard
It's a
to
little
judge.
bit firm, yes. Great shot. I mean,
People might have thought that was a stupid idea when I called it, but yeah, it's worked out beautifully, and he's pretty good angle on the one inside that yellow.
yeah, that's fantastic judgment. I mean, I think he would admit that trusting slightly to luck, he's a good enough player who's always going to hit the ball, but to pot it as well is beautiful.
Yeah, it's not a bad shot at 6-all in a semi-final of the World Teams.
And look at this, that
And
red
he's
sails past the yellow.
he is beautifully on this. Making sure he gets out far enough.
What an important frame. England team know the importance of that shot. Black hanging over the pocket.
Have a listen to him when he pots this.
A couple of frames, but the England cheers are back with a vengeance now. It's England that nudge one ahead with 2 to play. They lead Malta by 7 frames to 6. Tense last frame at 6-all, but magnificent finish from Jack Popel. From a difficult snooker, played a fantastic triple, came 3 times across the table, potted the ball, opened up the finish.
Pretty unlucky for Bennington. He's probably that shot.
Way to go now.
He's got hammered for it. So.
Popel played the shot perfectly, but he's not getting that a particularly high percentage of the time.
Would you believe McKenny's finally broken the run of dry breaks?
Yeah, there's no man you'd rather have in this position.
Have a look at the Reds.
A long-time England captain
Oh.
Lee Kendall.
Tell you what, it was a fair mistake there. He almost didn't get out.
No, he just got like cannon all wrong. He had a lot of work still on the ball, which almost took it behind the yellow. Even now, I don't know if you can see the ball he played for.
think we'll still back him in here. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, he's going to have to go for the more difficult of the two reds. Although,
I thought he'd just go up the other end.
yeah,
Take the one over the hole. Why risk it? And you can get back down.
yeah, I think he's starting to realise that as well. There's just no need, is there?
And it's straightened up heaps. He's curled that off the cushion.
Yeah, he's got a lot of topspin on that, which has turned into backspin as it's hit the baulk cushion and just pulled the white back towards it.
And he's really overhit that. Just going to hide it.
Outwardly as calm as always, but he'll be very frustrated with that. First look in this match at Christ Mills for Malta.
He'd be happy to get a visit, I think, after seeing the break.
I'm not sure what the debate is. He appears to be asking the referee if the ball's touching, but not sure how relevant it is whether it's touching the red.
Well, I can tell you how relevant it is. Absolutely not at all.
Right.
First shot in the final, and he's had to play a swerve shot out of a snooker. Can he cut this red in?
Yeah, if you can see the top of this cluster of three reds, that would be very helpful.
Try and control the white somehow. It's pretty thick.
I'm not sure.
Should be okay.
Can he play the white slow enough to hold, or is he going to play around the table? He's going for the hold. Played it nicely.
He's going to come straight back here, leave himself about half ball on the cut.
And suddenly these just join up so well. He can take these two at the bottom of the table, leave the top left red till last, and that leaves him perfectly on the black. It's amazing how quickly things can change in a full match. 5 minutes ago it was 6-all, and Malta looked like they could very easily win that last frame.
Yeah. How's his angle here? I don't think he meant to come that close to the cushion.
This is straighter than he wanted. If this was further off the cushion, he'd be happy playing with a lot of reverse side, but I don't think he wants to take any liberties with it.
Just going to stun it.
Lovely shot, just enough angle.
Fantastic shot. And absolutely nothing to do with the cue ball at all.
Well, Malta can't say they didn't have their chances in this match.
Certainly have. Both teams have coughed up a few though. What
Yeah,
you
they've made
expect?
They've made a good fight of it. I've enjoyed the match. Nice to see Malta come back into it and make it respectable. Ultimately, the experience of England looks like proving too much. Just this simple black standing between Lee Kendall and yet another record-busting appearance in the final for England.
And who didn't get a game?
Clayton Attard. It's down. England have done it. It wasn't always easy, it wasn't always pretty, but they've done what they needed to. Go through to tomorrow's final against Scotland, beating Malta by 8 frames to 6. The contrast between the two teams, Malta deflated, England victorious. Thank you for your company today. Join us again tomorrow morning when we've got the team final, followed by the ladies final and the men's final.